Hello and welcome to Campaign Chronicles, our daily look at the race to be France's next president. Now, with just 65 days to go, the race is hotting up and all the candidates have been taking to the internet to try and win over voters via social media. And to shed some light on this, I'm now joined by our press reviewer, Elena Casas. Hello, Elena. So, Nicolas Sarkozy, let's start off with him, the president, he launched his Twitter account this week, as well as his campaign.
He did indeed. He launched yesterday morning, the day of his big campaign announcement. His first few tweets have been pretty anodyne, but he's got over 40,000 followers, which is pretty impressive. That's his very first tweet, you can see up there. And he's also launched a new Facebook page, which takes advantage of all the abilities of the new Facebook timeline to make it really sort of shiny and interesting, bringing up to anyone who comes and clicks on it all the best events, the things he wants to put forward of his last 5 years of his presidency, kind of hiding the things he's not quite so keen on. And there's been a controversy over this because the rumour is, at least according to L'Express magazine, that he was given extra help by Facebook's team to try and put this together. They apparently came round and talked to the Sarkozy campaign team and helped them use the functionality of the timeline as much as possible when, according to L'Express, it wasn't available to other people. Now, that actually isn't true. Anyone could have used that technology as early as September last year. If we'd all made the most of it, we could all have a shiny timeline Facebook page. It's just that Sarkozy's team made the most of it, rather, if you like. Now, we're now joined by Tech24's presenter Marjorie Paillon. Hello, Marjorie.
Nice to be
So
here.
we were just saying Sarkozy's got this big Facebook page that's caused some controversy and he's launched Twitter. So what's his campaign team's strategy for social networking?
Well, actually, now we have a candidate. So we have a strategy and we have a candidate online, which is really interesting when we compare that to the strategy that was implemented in 2007, back 5 years ago, that we have now integrated online teams working with the campaigns. 5 years ago, we had more like teams working with the campaign, but not really. Now they're totally integrated to the whole show and to the whole theme. What you said about the Facebook page is totally right. Absolutely. I mean, we can all have a timeline and do storytelling too online. Let me say that Newt Gingrich was also the American candidate for the GOP that was also using a timeline since this week. So every one of us can do our own storytelling online.
And how do you think the candidates are doing online then?
They're doing pretty well now. Actually, the online campaign in France was pretty lame since Nicolas Sarkozy officialized his candidacy. Now they're all candidates, they're all online, and we're going to see a real show, a real scene here online and using social networks. And that's the big difference when you compare it with the previous presidential election in France. They weren't really using social networks 5 years ago. Now they can. They have the tools, and they know how to use the tools. The only thing is that if you want to be a real online candidate, a real great competitor online, you have to embody the tools. You have to embody that message. And you can have the brightest online campaign. If you're not really keen on the message you want to give people, then you're not going to make it.
So plenty of advantages to going online and spreading the message, trying to get support from voters. But turning back to you, Elena, there are potential pitfalls, though, aren't there?
It is quite easy for them to embarrass themselves if politicians don't quite know how Twitter works or they feel uncomfortable with it. The Greens spokeswoman, Cécile Duflot, is rather got egg on her face today after she had to delete some tweets that she made the other night when Nicolas Sarkozy was doing his live TV campaign announcement. She obviously thought after tweeting them that they were too insulting towards him, so she deleted them. But of course, once they've been posted, then anyone can see them. You can't really go backwards. There's an article that's quite funny in today's French Huffington Post giving advice for politicians who launch themselves on Twitter, which does indeed say things like, don't be too personal, don't express your own personal vendetta for opposition politicians, or indeed journalists. One, Nadine Morano, who's a minister, has come under fire for insulting particular journalists on the internet. So there's lots of mistakes they can make. What would your advice be, Marjorie, for politicians?
Actually, I don't know if I really have do and don'ts for candidates. My main advice, if I have one, would be to say that candidates have to stay candidates online. For instance, Nicolas Sarkozy, François Hollande, they have to stay on the top level. But they have to let, for instance, Nadine Morano, you told about her, they are the people that can fire guns, and they're really good at it. So let your hommes de main, the people that are really close to your circle, spread the message for you and stay the candidates you have to be. But don't try to embody something that you can't. It's also another advice.
You mentioned Newt Gingrich earlier. So the US campaign, obviously social networking is a big part of that too. Obama, his social networking strategy, do you think is an example to follow?
I think It's not an example to follow since Obama is embodying a strategy he can only implement. Is the message. I mean, this candidate is the president, but it's also the message. That's what he really proven back in 2008. He was the message, and he won because he totally embodied that message, that future presidency, and the way he wanted people to think about this future presidency. Now, the problem for Barack Obama is to do better than he did in 28. So that is going to be the main challenge for Barack Obama. But he's a great online campaigner, so don't count him out too easily.
Just yet.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Marjorie, and thanks, Elena. That's it for Campaign Chronicles. That's it also from all of us here at Live from Paris. Do stay tuned to France 24.